Hi and welcome to The Winning Factor. I'm Alan Aitken, and on this show each week we take a look at some upcoming races in Hong Kong and try to isolate an angle to the race that might lead us to the winner. Well, Sunday sees the final Group 1 of the current Hong Kong season, the Champions and Chater Cup, and we have a foreign visitor for that, due by honour. Looks a great race between him and Voyage Bubble, and everything you need to know to find the winner of that race, well, you'll find it at the HKJC website. All the interviews, track work, form, everything you need, it's all there. That's not a race that I'm dealing with though. I'm going to the undercard, and the first race I'm going to have a look at is race 7, where our winning factor is the Sectionals. So this is a Class 4, 1400 metres, some decent gallopers engaged, and Spirit of Peace looks a chance. Expect improvement from Galvanic without blinkers. Only You has a chance in the race too, but I think the main focus is going to be on just two runners in particular, David Hayes trained 3-year-old Seamus Storm and the year-older Max Q from the Mark Newnham yard. And as luck would have it, these two horses both had their most recent outings on the same day, an hour apart. So let's take a look at each of them finishing runner-up that day. Race 645, Seamus Storm is in mauve and white colours, gate 4 for Zach Purton, and isn't the best away. The early pace isn't taxing though, in fact a very slow second section before the leaders quicken in the second half. So that race shape really wasn't helpful to Seamus Storm, who's in midfield and giving away a start, while the eventual winner of the race, Ka Ying Superb, you can see a few lengths ahead of him in light blue colours in the box seat behind the leader. So in the stretch, Seamus Storm does get through and balanced and comes with a strong run after Ka Ying Superb, but he just has too much to do after giving away that start. A good performance, nevertheless, from this lightly raced young horse. Two races later, we're again Class 4, 1400 metres, and once again, we're looking at the runner-up. This is race 647, gate 1, Hugh Bowman in the orange colours, and Max Q jumps well. He's not looking for the lead though, and others go on in what the first two sections in average time, but then the race takes a big change. The rider's been having trouble for the first half holding the leader, and things got crazy as that horse wins the battle, breaking away from the field in a strong tempo. Now, Max Q, he's still getting a nice run himself, a couple of lengths in front of the eventual winner in the dark blue, Dazzling Fit. Max Q's in a good spot into the straight, but while the winner comes wide and has an uninterrupted run, Max Q finds a couple weakening in front of him, and his advantage on Dazzling Fit quickly evaporates. By the time he gets clear, the race is gone. Now, I doubt he would have beaten Dazzling Fit anyway. There's no shame in that. Dazzling Fit is going to be one of our top 4-year-olds next season, but Max Q was able to deal with the rest of the field pretty comprehensively. Now, we've seen two different styles of race there. One, a fairly steady first half and quickening in the second half, and another where the field was broken up mid-race by a tearaway leader. So we're trying to compare the two runs that we're looking at, and the best way I think we can do that is with the individual sectional times for each horse, and those are available on the Hong Kong Jockey Club website. So we see on this graphic these two horses actually themselves had fairly similar race shapes. Moderate through the first half, fast in the second half, but where I want to separate them in their finishing speeds, Max Q has run faster from the 800 metres to the 400 metres to keep his position when the pace was torrid. Then he has not run quite as fast as Seamus Storm down the straight, but a couple of things there. One is it's harder to run a fast last 400 metres off a strong pace, and secondly, we did see him held up for a brief period. Without that traffic, I'm confident that Max Q runs a faster 800 metres and also 400 metres than his rival on Sunday. And I think that might be important when we look at the map. It would be a surprise if we saw such a strong pace this time as we saw in one of those replays, but we do have a couple of lightweights who might set the speed, Precious Hill and Sunny Darling. There are others with tactical speed, and I think we're looking at an average sort of pace, neither fast nor slow. Seamus Storm, he's mixed things up at the start in his races and was a touch slow last time. He may be in midfield here, but we did see that Max Q began well enough last start, and there looks a decent chance he'll be in front of Seamus Storm in running. So the tip from me in race 7, Max Q. His winning factor, the Sectionals. Now, I guess where they are in running relative to each other depends a little bit on how Seamus Storm begins, but whether they are together or Seamus Storm is giving a start to Max Q, I think we saw that Max Q can run faster for the second half of the race, and if he is in front of Seamus Storm or even equal with him, that's going to prove decisive. The other race I'm looking at for Sunday's meeting is race 10, and our winning factor here, the map. So this is a Class 3, 2,000 metres, and there will be arguments made for quite a number of runners here. The last start winner, Live and Let Live, and the horses he beat in that race, including Family Jewel, Gold Master, Winning Wing, Enthralled, was in that race too and looked sharper in a recent barrier trial with a gear change. And down in the weights, the recent Class 4 winner, Master Trillion, and also Mighty Strength will have supporters, maybe even Megaforce backing up from a tough run last week. So there are a few players, half of them coming out of the race won by Live and Let Live. We'll get to that in a moment. For the alternative form line, we have to go back to Derby Day in March. And this is when Master Trillion scored his win over 1,600 metres in Class 4. This is race 529. He's in dark blue. Joe Moreira in the saddle from gate 9. Master Trillion begins okay, but there are horses with more speed under him. He drifts back to the second half, and you can see Moreira keeps niggling at him through the run to keep his position. Now, that's something we don't mind seeing as a good sign for a horse going up in distance, as he is finding the tempo in this just a touch sharp, despite the heat map showing us that the pace is moderate. When the speed quickens on the circle, Joe's at him again to pick up. He comes wide to ensure clear, uninterrupted running, and Master Trillion sustains a good run to prove too strong at the line. So Master Trillion, he's a lightly raced 4-year-old that made it 2 wins from 7 starts, and he looks a horse that will appreciate a step up to 2,000 metres. However, there is a little problem with his form. He was scratched from a race in April and did miss quite a bit of work at the end of that month. So there is some query on whether he's absolutely at peak fitness for this race. As for our other pointer, well, that's the race that Live and Let Live won 3 weeks ago. Over the 2,000 metres, 7 of these runners ran in that race, and we're going to take a look at that now with reference to a number of them. So this is race 648, gate 1, Winning Wing in blue colours, Family Jewel in blue from gate 2 missed the start. Live and Let Live leads from gate 5 in red, white and black. There's a positive ride on Mighty Strength in the green and yellow. And from wide out, Gold Master pushes forward in pink colours, and he does extra work in the long run around the first bend into the back straight. So the outcome of this race is decided by the tempo. As you can see on the heat map, it's a very soft lead for Live and Let Live with a sprint down the home straight. Now Gold Master's done all that work for the first half before he gets outside the leader, so he never gets a rest. And the tempo also doesn't really suit Mighty Strength, who you can see fighting his rider for much of the race. The race shape is too much for the run-ons. Gold Master and Live and Let Live come away in the straight, but that extra bit of work in the first half tells against Gold Master at the finish. So a moral victory there for Gold Master, but just try cashing a ticket for that. Let's take a look at the map for Sunday's race. As I said, 7 runners from that Live and Let Live race are here again, and to a large extent it looks the same pace setup. Live and Let Live again looks the only leader, dictating the pace again, but this time he has to get there from gate 13. Horses like Winning Wing goes from gate 1 to gate 9, and Family Jewel gate 2 out to gate 12, and they have more issues to deal with this time. Mighty Strength draws low again, but I suspect he'll be ridden more quietly on Sunday to get him to relax better. Enthralled had gate 11 in that race replay we saw last time. He went back. He has blinkers on Sunday and a better draw, and he did show a more positive approach in a recent trial wearing the blinkers, so he could be closer. But the big beneficiary of all the changes in the barriers is Gold Master, who did all that extra work last time, now has barrier 2, and Andrea Adzeni can be handy behind the lead without any extra effort at all. So the tip from me in race 10, Gold Master. His winning factor, the map. With a few things against him last time, Gold Master went very close to winning, and this time he's the one getting all the favours, and some of his main rivals have quite a bit against them. Well, that's it from the winning factor this week. Good luck on Sunday. Enjoy the final Group 1 of the season. We'll see you next time.